I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States.
UFOs, flying saucers, unidentified aerial phenomenon. These objects have been seen in our skies for hundreds of years. They come in all shapes and sizes and move in ways that defy explanation. But what are they? How long have they been around? And why aren't they taken seriously by the scientific community? Let's go all the way back to 1561. On the morning of April 14th, residents of Nuremberg, Germany saw what they described as an aerial battle. Globes, crosses, and strips appeared in the sky, flying back and forth and fighting with each other for over an hour. Some of these objects crashed and wasted away on the earth with immense smoke. Something similar happened 5 years later in Basel, Switzerland. Large black spheres were coming and going with great speed. Keep in mind though that this was 460 years ago. All that survive are texts and illustrations, so we'll never know what actually happened. But sightings of flying saucers never really stopped. Things really began to pick up during the Second World War. In 1944, pilots started reporting fast-moving, fiery or glowing red, white, or orange objects following their planes. These objects were given the nickname Foo Fighters, Foo being taken from the popular cartoon strip Smokey Stover. Foo Fighters seemed to toy with the aircraft before making wild turns and simply vanishing. They flew in formation and behaved as if they were under intelligent control, but they never displayed hostile behavior. They also couldn't be outmaneuvered or shot down. The military took these sightings seriously, suspecting that this may be some secret German weapon, but German and Japanese pilots reported similar sightings. A highly publicized sighting in 1947 popularized the term flying saucer. In 1948, Captain Thomas Mantell crashed his fighter chasing a UFO. Throughout the 60s and 70s, UFOs interfered with nuclear weapons facilities and even stopped them from launching. Lights of varying description were seen across Arizona in March 1997. And earlier this year, the Pentagon released 3 videos containing UFOs. Humans are naturally really curious creatures. We study the heavens, we study the oceans, we study every little bug and plant out there. But for whatever reason, there's a huge stigma around the study of UFOs. But why? I think there's a few reasons for this. First, we have to make a case that UFOs are actually real, and to do this, we'll have to define what exactly a UFO is. A UFO doesn't necessarily mean extraterrestrials, even though I totally think they could be. UFOs are any aerial phenomena that can't be explained. With a bit of study, most UFOs can be explained away as jets or drones or weather balloons. These aren't the UFOs we're talking about. We're talking about a small number of objects that don't have an obvious explanation, and these objects appear to be real. The second reason is that a large amount of evidence supporting UFOs is anecdotal and not very scientific. A lot of it is eyewitness reports. But these reports have been happening for a long time, even before the invention of powered flight, and they happen all around the world and are usually very consistent. So something seems to be going on. And we do have some physical evidence like radar data and videos. If this all ends up being nothing, then the evidence could be disproven by the scientific community, or at least examined. But for now, it's just silence. And lastly, the topic of UFOs has been swarmed by conspiracy theorists. If you bring up the topic, you hear about aliens, suppression of information, and government cover-ups. And they're not entirely wrong. The US has done countless studies on UFOs and they're all highly classified. But these cover-ups and this suppression shouldn't affect the wider scientific community. This phenomenon should be studied, whether there are conspiracy theories about the subject or not. I mean, you don't see scientists backing away from vaccines because of anti-vaxxers, do you?
No vaccine's ever been proven safe, and no vaccine has ever been proven effective.
We know that's not true.
Please allow me to...
So let's say that scientists look at all the photos and the radar data and the eyewitness reports and say, okay, something's definitely going on here. Why should they even care? The discovery of extraterrestrials would be the most important event in human history, no matter their motivation. Whether they want to breed with us, harvest some raw material, look after us like an unruly child, or animals in a zoo. This discovery would affect every single human being on the planet. But hey, UFOs don't necessarily mean ETs. They could be something else entirely. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I've been interested in aliens and UFOs for as long as I can remember, so I'd love to make videos on some of the declassified programs studying them, like Project Blue Book. So if you'd be interested in that, let me know down in the comments, or just any future video suggestions. So any sort of feedback or criticism would help make these videos even better. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.